Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Paddocast, and welcome to my brand new Riftbound channel. I'm excited to dive into all the Riftbound excitement. I've been playing the game in the background on the side. I've gotten so excited, I decided to make this channel. But today, Riot Games announced its first regional qualifier in Houston. There's a lot of excitement. There's some controversy sprinkled in there, and a lot of questions about the launch of Riftbound in the West. So without further ado, let's get into it. Mentioned Riot posted on their Riftbound website all the details about the regional qualifier. It's going to be in Houston, held between December 5th and 7th at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston, Texas. Very exciting. It launched midday, which we're going to get into some of the grumbles about that, but there's a lot to do here beyond the obvious qualifier. There's going to be vendors, there's going to be lots of side events, there's going to be streaming, casting, all this kind of stuff. So it is exciting for the first regional qualifier in the US. They also announced ticket pricing. There will be different tiers, and mainly what you need to know is the spectators, $25 will get you in the door. It'll also give you one voucher to play some of the side events, which there will be many. We'll get into those later. The competitor badge will get you into the qualifier, give you 2 vouchers, and you get a promo misfortune card. And then the premium tier, as you can see, is $300. However, it gets you into the event. It gets you a box of Origins, which, depending on how hard those are to get, that could be a big thing to get. You also get 4 side event passes, and you also get a framed 2x2 Riftbound card back sheet. They kind of describe this as a way to like get signatures or autographs if you want. I don't know. It seems kind of a cool thing. Apparently there's only 300 of these, so it'll be limited edition in that case. So it's like a serialized card back thing. But then on top of that, you also get a promo swag pack, which includes the misfortune card, and I think is the alt art misfortune playmat, which is really cool to get a playmat in that case. So we'll see what else maybe comes along with that. But either way, it's really cool. And then we get to the odd part, which is right here. It says you can purchase tickets, which a lot of people understandably were a little upset about because they didn't expect it. And when you go to this page, there is no purchasing here. And I don't know if this is intentional, but there is a buy tickets button up here. And if you click on buy tickets, you can note that they're already sold out, and they sold out within about an hour of this going live in the middle of the day. And that normally wouldn't be a problem, except on their post. If you read the original post that they sent on September 26th, you can see that in this they say, get ready for the clash of battlefields in Houston, Texas, December 5th through December 7th. All the info you need about purchasing tickets, side events, dealer booths, and more will be shared on 10/6. Now, a lot of people, a lot of Riftbound fans that were looking forward to this looked at this and they were like, oh, great, we're going to be able to get information about the tickets, and I can set my reminders and all that. Well, surprise, the tickets, intentional or not, went on sale. And so they're all now purchased except for spectator badges. So if you want to go to spectator, go eat your heart out. But the fact that a lot of people that wanted to play didn't get to play, it's understandable that some people are upset because of kind of the miscommunication. And when I, just for a preview of this channel, when I talk about problems, I'm always going to talk also about solutions, because I don't think it's easy to point out a problem, but we should be talking about solutions. And in this case, I think that this is just kind of the growing pains for Riot working with a vendor and going into a new space. For those that don't know, I worked at Riot for about 10 years. In tournaments and other side things and projects, I've seen a lot of the ups and downs, the good, the bad of Riot internally as a company when they work on this kind of thing. But really, in this case, I think a lot of it's just communication. And I think that I would suggest that, especially for things with like big dates, whether they knew they were going to sell tickets or that was an accident or not, I think that having 11-day gap between a big kind of highlight moment like this, where you're going to have a call to action for people to purchase tickets or something for an event, or it's a limited edition drop or whatever, I think there should also be something on their socials the day before that kind of hints at it, teases it, reminds people, maybe updates information so it's clear that the tickets are going on sale that day. And really that's the main fix that would make this feel less bad. I think that, especially looking at Riftbound now, the scarcity of product, looking at stuff like this where the first regional qualifier and maybe someone wanted to go participate in it, but because it came out midday, they didn't know it was going to be a thing. Now you miss out on that. And so it feels like it might be hard to get into the game early on, which feels rough. Now, Riot has said and stated that they are going to clean this up. They're going to monitor supply. They're going to try to help that out, which will be very important, especially if you have a regional qualifier that's a month after you basically launch. And if this product is scarce, it might be hard just to get a deck for the event, depending on how much money you have to spend and what you've already been able to get your hands on. So I think that's a very interesting problem to solve. But I think that having worked at Riot, I also know that the people there genuinely care about the player experience. And there's a lot of great people working on this team that I know personally that I think that they are going to do what they can to adjust. And even if this event is a little bit rough or the launch has a few holes, I know that they're working diligently to try to solve those and responsibly be able to help players and make sure that they can get access on product, they can get access to the events they want to play. And I think that even if you got, for what it's worth, if you're a huge Riftbound fan, I think that even getting a spectator badge, there's going to be a standby list because people aren't going to show up day of. If you want to go and you want to play in side events, there's going to be a lot of cool side events. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff to get involved in. If you still want to go to this event, grab a spectator badge and go do that. Because I think this is going to be a cool, vibey event, especially being the first Riftbound regional qualifier in the US. Now, with all that said, let's talk about the actual competitive event. So the actual competitive event is going to be best of 3 with sideboards, 9 rounds of Swiss, which for those that don't know, Swiss is essentially if you win, you play winners. If you lose, you play losers. It kind of matches similar records. But the cool part about it is if you want to get a lot of Riftbound in, you want to get a lot of practice with your deck, whatever, even if you have a rough day, you can still play a full day of Riftbound, which is pretty cool. And then they're going to cut the top 64 to an elimination bracket where that will be best of 3 elimination. And then that will be down till the final on at the end of Sunday. And the main qualifier will be between Saturday and Sunday. Friday will be kind of a pre-event. We'll talk about that. But Saturday and Sunday are your main 2 days. Saturday is going to be all the Swiss. Sunday is going to be the elimination rounds. And there will be a stream, which is pretty cool. So you'll be able to tune in. There'll be casters, all that kind of stuff. So even if you miss out, if you're not able to go for whatever reason, you'll be able to follow along, kind of see where the meta and everything is going. And then for the prizing, as you can see here, Champion gets this awesome Battle Bunny Misfortune special card that's going to be foil and embossed and look sick like the overnumbered cards. And a cool playmat. I always love playmats as like a prizing thing because it's unique to you, which is really cool. And then the other thing is going to be the top 8 get the Battle Bunny Misfortune All Art Champion card. Now, with this, some people have complained that, Lorcana, other games have cooler top 8 prizing, alt art, whatever. I think I give Riot a pass for this being the first regional qualifier. They've kind of already done a little bit of stuff in China. I'm not too worried that that kind of exclusive prizing, I'm sure, will improve as the game goes along. They've made a lot of pivots when they've gotten feedback. I think they'll get a little bit of feedback on this and they'll make it even cooler. Still, even that said, if the game is as popular as this, those cards are still going to be a hot commodity for people to try to pick up. And then, of course, you also get cash money on top of that. First place, $6K, second place, $3K, and then on down to $250 for the top 32. So if you make it to day 2, you win your first matchup, you're in the money, which is pretty cool. In addition to all of this, though, one of the coolest things that I've seen is the best of prizing. And so basically the way the best of prizing works is when you play, there are 16 legends in the game. And if you have the best win rate, whether you win it all or not, if you have the best win rate out of that legend, then you get a cool, basically metal holographic version of that legend. And on top of that, it's legal. So it's actually pretty cool because, legends are the one thing that kind of lives outside of, the game. You can have a Chinese version, whatever, which I think is really cool. And it's cool in this case that you could have this cool metal, like legal version of a thing that you get for playing best legend. The main thing I like that this encourages is like, you can go into this tournament and if you're like the only Garen player, let's say, you win this automatically. You can lose every game and your win rate of 0 will qualify you as the best win rate. I don't think that's going to happen. I think there will likely be different legends there, but there actually is this other side meta game of like, oh, if you want to play something that's off meta, that's not like the 100th Yi or Kaisa or whatever, and that's going to come to this tournament, then you have a shot at winning a really cool takeaway, even if you don't win at all. And it'll be interesting to see like what these really look like because we don't have an example or anything like that, but these could be, I dare to say it, these could be cooler than some of the top 8 prizing, other stuff like that. And I think it'll really push people to push legends as far as they can in competitive format, which is a good thing. I like this as an idea, and bravo to Riot or whoever came up with this, because I think this is excellent for competitive, and not just having it be a million Kai'Sa decks, a million Yi decks, and that's it, the OBC, which I don't even know what that'll look like when we finally get there. Other decks have been performing. The meta is always evolving. The West is going to probably feel different than the China regional qualifiers. So we'll see what happens when we get there. Now, as for the side events for this event, there is going to be a pre-regional challenge, which the interesting thing about this is, so this happens on Friday. You can win a first round bye to the qualifier. So if you show up Friday, you win that event, you get a first round bye, which is pretty cool. You already got one win in the bank in your Swiss pairings. Awesome. Apparently you'll be able to do this through other local events and other things like that for future regional qualifiers. So I think that is really cool. There'll be premium sealed. There will be conquest, which is basically like you bring 3 standard decks of different legends, and then I think you get to ban one of your opponent. They ban one of yours, and then the goal is you have to win with both of the remaining 2 decks. So if you play with one deck and you win that matchup, you have to win with the second deck, and so on and so forth. And if you lose in the first one, you can swap decks if you want for the next matchup, whatever you want to do. But I think it's an interesting format. It comes from Legends of Runeterra. It just pushes different skills and different deck building strategies instead of building one solo deck, which I think is a cool format. So we'll see how that is received and how popular that becomes. But more formats is good. Then you also have on-demand events. Those are going to be free-for-all, 2v2s, standard, everything. So there'll be a lot of stuff to do in this event. And I think that you will be able to register for these events on site, which is cool. And then there's going to be dealer booths, a trading area, a free play area, and then a prize wall, which is basically when you play in these side events, you'll get tickets and you can redeem those tickets for 1 ticket for a pack, or you can save up multiple to get something bigger, better, so on and so forth. I've seen this at PAX and other kind of events. Cool idea. We're interested to see how that goes. The other big thing that is coming in here, though, is the judging program. So the judge program, basically they said it's going to go live on November 11th. So we got that information. So at least we can look out for that. You'll be able to go through a test. I think that UVS is going to set this up. It's 10 to 15 rules questions. You'll get automatic feedback on those, how you do. If you pass, you'll get put into a Discord and you'll have access to all that kind of stuff and can report the shops and tournaments that you judge. If you aren't accepted, there's a 7 to 10 day cooldown before you can apply again. But basically, once you're in, you get access to the Discord. There's 3 tiers. So there's a level 1 tier, which is what you start at, and then you can get up to level 3. Every event you run in judge is going to give you more points towards leveling up your tiers. And just for doing your first event, you'll get this Heimerdinger promo card, which is pretty cool looking, has the judge stamp on it. I'm sure that these cards are going to recycle or change each set. So you will, if you are a judge long term, you're going to get some really cool access stuff that you only get for being a judge. This is similar to Magic, some other games where you get judge promos, and very hype, at least that they're doing that. Even if I don't like Heimerdinger the most as a character, but maybe down the line he's the character that's going to become stronger as more sets launch. So I'm actually excited for that. Other things they mentioned are the events that are coming up, store demos. We already know that those are going on. Learn to play events, you can get the Teemo. But beyond that, there is going to be Nexus nights. So Nexus nights are kind of like a casual fun night. Show up, 1v1s, 2v2s, all that kind of stuff. And the prizing for those is you get a 3-card pack that can have all of these different cards in it. So useful cards, but also a GG Easy Teemo and these really cool runes that are going to be exclusive to it, I assume. So that is a really cool prize for participating in your local events consistently. There's also going to be summoner skirmishes. These are the more competitive style events. And this, you can win a Blitzcrank prize mat, Tryndamere, and Blitzcrank, and those are going to go on down for based on how you do. Tryndamere you get for just for participating, which is awesome. And then, of course, the release event. So the release event is going to be a 2-card pack, and you get 1 champion out of this group, and you get 1 legend out of this group. So all but the Proving Ground champions, what it looks like. So overall, I think that this is a really exciting launch, kind of info for me as someone that loves organized play, is excited about playing in Riftbound. And I would like to announce that I am actually going to be going to this Houston qualifier. I was able to luckily click in at the right time and be able to snag a ticket after it looked like they were all sold out. So I guess RNG loves me, but I'm super excited to go, booking all the stuff to go now. Let me know down in the comments. Are you going to go to this event? Are you excited about this event? How do you feel about this launch announcement and how everything's rolled out? If you would like to follow me on my journey to win the first English regional qualifier, then give me a like and give me a subscribe. It would really help me out as I'm a brand new channel. And as always, remember, you're going to be amazing today because you are amazing. And I'll catch you next episode.